Welcome to the Not My Scene podcast, the podcast where we explore different scenes, communities, subcultures, and corners of the internet and tell you what we find. I'm Kaya.
And I'm Yarden. How's it going?
Good. Excited to record. I have pretty strong opinions about the community that we're going to be discussing today.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to hear.
How are you?
I'm good, yeah. My scene lately has been doing a lot of activities with my niece. So, like, a lot of unique kid-friendly activities around the city. So that's been really fun.
Okay, like what kind of activities?
Okay, I really want to talk about one of them. The more unique one I want to talk about is the weekend before this most recent, we went to medieval times. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've freaking heard of that. Dude, literally like 2 weeks ago, Hannah, my roommate, was like, "Oh, you know what we should have done for Kaya's birthday, but it's too late now, so we'll have to do it in a full year. We should have taken her to medieval times." And I was like, "Why would you say that out loud? Like, yeah, I want that so bad, but the
You would
time has
love
passed."
it. Is there one near you?
I think there's one in the South Bay. But I actually, okay, I studied abroad. Den knows this. This is for the listeners. When I was in like a freshman in high school, I studied abroad in France. Like I did an exchange with a French girl. Shout out Clara, huge scene stir. We love you.
Love you, Clara.
Clara came to our hometown, and then I went back to her town with her. And we went to like, my memory of it is like French medieval times. It was like a medieval themed theme park in France, but
Okay.
everything was in French. So
That's so funny. It seems like it would feel like more legit because it's in Europe.
it definitely did. Like, I feel like it was tied to history in the area, I think. Or maybe maybe I was just like bamboozled as an American. Like, I was like, this is so authentic while they're
Yeah.
jousting, but it might have been like literally medieval
I
times.
did read when we were there that it started in Spain. But it's so funny the one I went to because it totally feels like completely opposite context because it's inside of a giant shopping mall.
Oh, I did
Well,
not
I don't know if they're all like that, but the one I went to was.
Is this
So,
like in Atlanta?
yeah, or like a little bit outside.
Okay.
So we basically get into the mall. It's also like malls are alive and well. I feel like there was a point where people were like, malls are dying. But it's like that meme that's like, look up from your phone, babe. It's still 2005 out there. Like, the mall was packed and like so many like teens at the food
Wow.
court. I was like, wow, mall culture is thriving.
That makes me really glad to hear.
Yeah. So basically you go through like this mall, like you're going past your American Eagle, your like regular food court, Auntie Anne's, like all of that. And then you get to medieval times. And it's like it's impossible to miss, like huge kind of like castle like exterior. And then
Like it's like the walls are like castle walls.
I don't have like such a strong memory, I guess, but it's
I guess I blacked out.
it's not like a real castle wall, obviously. Like they don't have ruins inside of the mall.
Right.
But it's like themed.
Okay.
And you go in and you get your crown, and everyone has a different colored crown. Well, there's like 4, or actually I don't remember how many. There's like maybe like 6 different colors, and
Okay.
whatever color you get, like that's the knight that you're rooting for.
Okay, and it's also connected to your Myers-Briggs, right?
No, I didn't take any kind of, is that a joke?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were serious. And I was like,
No.
in San Francisco, it's, like, a lot more psychological.
Yeah, what's your Enneagram? They ask you what trauma you've experienced as a child, and they give you the red crown.
It's so funny. You're, like, not sitting with your friends at all. You're just sitting with next to people with similar trauma.
With other perceivers, and the judges are on the other side. It's
Yeah.
introverts versus extroverts at the
The, like,
jousting.
cheerleader and, Myers-Briggs type is going so hard for their night. Um, yes. But do you know what, like, the premise is?
No.
Well, I mean, it's dinner and a show, and, like, very much a show. Like, it is a huge production,
Oh,
and
okay. I always thought it was like a theme park, like you could walk
no,
around.
it's not.
Okay.
It's like you're
Dinner and a
seated,
show.
and, like,
Love.
it is just crazy because there are so many horses in it, and you're
And you're in
inside
the
of a
mall?
mall, and we were like, "How'd they get the horses in?"
It
Like,
went
did
through
the
wet
horse
seal.
Yeah. Excuse me, excuse me.
All of those businesses that you see in the mall that you're like, this isn't a national chain. Like, is this just a front for money laundering or something? No, it's actually
It's for
a
the horse.
connected path for the horses to get from the outside of the mall in
Yeah, and it's just
Charlotte Russe.
it's crazy because it feels like something that's like, this must be, like, a special show, but it's like they're running it back, like, they're doing, like, multiple shows, like, Friday to
Yeah.
Sunday.
It's like
Um,
Disneyland, kind of.
yeah, but it's, like, so much more casual because it's in the mall.
But also, like, in some ways, so much more involved because there's live horses there.
Yeah. There's no horses at Disneyland?
I don't I feel like I've never seen a live animal
Except for
yeah.
the ducks that ride the roller coaster. Hey.
Yeah. Call back. I think they have, like, an animal show that's, like, very limited, but no,
Yeah.
there's no, like, horses in the parade at Disneyland, I don't think.
So there were so many horses. There was a falcon, that, like, did
Cool.
tricks, kind of, like, it flew around the stadium in, like, a controlled way.
The
Um,
stadium inside the
yeah, like,
mall.
I don't know what to call it. It like, the arena, the jousting arena.
How big is the space?
Pretty I would say it's, like, the size of, like, a basketball court.
Okay.
Is like the stage, and then there's, like, stands all around. Um,
Wow. And is it, like, echoey like a basketball court?
no, because of the material of the stage is, like, dirt for the
Oh, okay.
horses. And there's also, like, such a large cast involved, and it's, like, it follows a narrative where there's, like, a king and a queen. Honestly, it was a little hard to follow, but
Mm.
there were all these knights that were competing, and then there was, like, one knight that was, like, rebelling against the monarchy.
Dude, it's crazy that the plot at medieval times was hard to follow. Like, what is the target audience here that they're like, we need cliffhangers, we need like complex relationships?
I know. But all of the knights were, like, really hot. It was funny.
Dude, let's go.
Um, like, it was, like, several guys with, like, beautiful, long, flowing hair, and the ones that didn't have long hair had to wear one of those, like, hood things, I think, so that you couldn't
And
see
I
their
have no
modern
idea what you mean.
haircuts.
I have literally no idea what you mean by one of those hood
Like,
things.
imagine what a knight wears under the helmet.
Oh, yeah. Super not hot, I would
Yeah,
say.
so there was 2 guys wearing those who didn't they weren't as sexy as the
Yeah, that's
long-haired
like, put your
guys.
helmet on. We're not supposed to see this.
Yeah, but it's, like, so fun to root for your knight because and we had, like, front row seats, and, like, the knight will, like,
Mm.
come riding by on his horse, and we're like, "Woo," and he's, like, blowing kisses. I'm like,
Mm.
"These knights love this."
Dude,
Because
yeah.
yeah,
They're like celebrities.
yeah, so that was really fun.
That's so funny.
Oh, and you eat dinner there's no, silverware, so you have to eat everything with your hands, and it's, like,
Fun.
big, like, chicken legs,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Fun. And so you're getting, like, turkey juice on your It's running down your arms and you're screaming and the hot night is blowing
And
you
you're like,
kisses
"Yes."
and there's horses.
Yeah.
And you could go to AMC after to see Gladiator 2.
If you need more entertainment
Uh-huh.
after you spent hundreds of dollars at medieval times.
Is it that expensive?
It depends if you get, like, what package you get. Um, it's like I think like 60 to 100 per person.
It's 100 for the knights with the long flowing hair and 60 if you want to root for someone with a ugly hood on.
Exactly. That should be an option when you are buying
Mhm.
tickets. Yeah.
Um, when I went to the Renaissance Fair last year, there was jousting that sounds a little similar to this, and it was definitely the most fun part of the fair, like, just having a big cup of mead and, like, screaming whenever your knight went by, and
Yes.
yeah.
That's so fun.
I can see why people liked it in medieval times.
I know it is crazy to be like, people used to do this for real and now we're just pretending.
Yeah, well, did you feel like you were pretending? I didn't feel like I was pretending when I was like, my natural instinct right now is to, like, scream for the knight who's wearing the colors of the stands that I'm sitting on right now,
No, I
you
wasn't
know?
pretending in terms of my enthusiasm for my night, but
Mm.
it was hard for me to not think about the fact that they were actors.
So
Or
is there, like, is there fight
it's
scripted?
yes, yes, completely.
Oh, okay. The jousting I saw was well, now I don't know, maybe this is what they want you to think, but I think it was organic jousting.
Oh, that's cool. Well, what have you been up to lately?
Okay, this is, like, so much less interesting. My scene this week is egg salad. Really been enjoying egg salad, and I just wanted to shout it out on the pod.
Shout out egg salad.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
honestly, that's a huge display of wealth, eggs these days.
so true. Well, this is partly why it's been my scene, like, very recently because I couldn't get eggs for a little while, and then normally I only get 6 eggs at a time because I get the egg ick if I have too many
Mhm.
in a short period of time, but after going so long without eggs, I saw a dozen at the store and I was like, "I'm getting these eggs," so bought those, and then I had all these extra eggs and nothing to do with them, so I made a big batch of egg salad, and it's
Wow.
so good. I don't know. As someone who doesn't eat meat other than fish, like, I lean heavily on the stinky salads, the tuna salads and the egg salads,
Yeah, and you
and
you love a mayo, both very mayo heavy.
love mayo. It's so good.
Wait,
If you haven't
I hardly ever eat egg salad.
okay, then I'm speaking directly to you when I say make egg salad. It's like the perfect mayo-based salad. You can have it on toast for breakfast. You can have it with tomato in a sandwich for
Mm.
lunch. It's really good. And you can zhuzh it up with pickles or
Ooh.
capers. You have to go hard with the red onion. That's really key.
So what do you put in it?
It depends like how fancy I want to. If my basic egg salad is just hard-boiled eggs, although it's great if you make it like kind of jammy, so you get a bit of a soft yolk on the egg,
Mm.
and then just like a ton of chopped red onion, and you could do some shallots instead if you
Ooh,
don't
yeah.
have red onion, and then just like so much salt, pepper, and mayo. And I know
Love.
some people don't go very hard on the mayo. I think you should put a lot of mayo in, especially if you have a jammy yolk, you don't need as much mayo. But if you have a crumbly, hard boiled yolk, you got to go hard on the mayo to,
Mhm. To moisten that baby up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's
I think
funny
that's it.
because, like, a main ingredient of mayo is eggs, so it's, like, just different forms of eggs
So
mixing
true.
together.
This is just like Wikipedia with Wikipedia pages about Wikipedia. Yeah, it's just egg on
Also,
egg.
we're saying eggs so much, and Maggie pointed out after our last episode, she was like, "You can really hear your Pacific Northwest accents when you talk about eggs."
Huh?
Because we
Whoa.
say, like, egg instead of egg.
Egg,
I think it's like,
egg,
we say, like, egg.
like Canadian.
It's almost like there's, like, a Y in it.
I feel like it's like what's the guy from Diary of a Wimpy Kid?
Which one? The main guy?
No, the one who's, like, stinky with the cheese touch.
His name starts with an R, I wanna
I think it's
say.
Rowley.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's very Rowley.
To say egg.
Egg.
I know, it feels so, like, not classy when she was like, "We say egg."
I just feel like people on the East Coast can't be coming for a Pacific Northwest accent,
I
like,
know, and I don't even know if it is a Pacific Northwest thing or I don't know.
"E egg." It's just a us nasal voice thing. Wow, okay, I'm so curious about this. If listeners have noticed, if you also noticed that we were pronouncing egg in a Rowley way, tell us. I wanna know. And if there's other words that we're pronouncing in a way that shows our Pacific Northwest accent, I wanna
Yes,
know that
let us
too.
know if we have accents.
Anyways, my scene is egg salad this week.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because, like, this does sound really good, but it's so, like, loser core to be like, "My scene this week is egg salad."
We can't all splurge $100 for medieval times.
I mean, that's also kind of loser core.
What a
Okay,
way
we
to
really
go.
we really
Yeah, we
should
should
get
move
to our
on.
topic.
Okay. All right, what are we talking about this week, Dan?
Okay, so today we're talking about ecstatic dance. Um,
Woo.
woo.
Reserved woo.
Politely wooing. This one is fun because it'll be more about our experiences than maybe some others. We both tried an ecstatic dance class, so
Oh,
we'll be
yeah.
sharing our experiences and thoughts and feelings about that.
Yeah, and Dan and I have not discussed. We have been
Saving it.
saving it.
Yeah,
No discourse about it.
yeah.
Just to have fun and then no contact for 4 hours while we were experiencing what there is to experience. So, I thought we could start by explaining what ecstatic dance is, if anyone
Yeah.
doesn't know.
I think it'll only become more clear throughout the episode.
I agree.
Um, but basically what it is, very free form dance event where it's generally just a bunch of people gathering. There's a DJ that's playing music, and typically the music starts out more calm and grows in energy throughout. And it's usually a mainly nonverbal event and
Mhm.
also a sober event. So
Mhm.
that's what makes it different from like a rave, for example. But yeah, people just dancing. There's definitely a heavy, like hippie vibe to it.
For sure. That was
Does
my
that pretty
experience as
much
well.
explain it?
Yeah, I think I would just emphasize, like, underline freeform. It's really
Yeah.
freeform.
Like
There's
it's not like
no
there's no instruction.
no instruction. There's just a DJ, and then you have a room filled with however many people, and it's yours to fill with dance as you so choose.
Yes.
So what did you know about ecstatic dance? Or what did you think of
Yeah,
it before you tried?
I feel so I remember actually when I first heard about it, which was like in 2018. Um, and it was actually at dance church, which I'll explain what that is.
Mhm.
Um, it's probably the most similar thing to ecstatic dance that I'd experienced before. It's another kind of, I don't know, class is a stretch,
Yeah.
but like a dance class that's extremely free form. It's also there's a bit of instruction. There's definitely a lot more than ecstatic dance where the teacher will be um I don't know, prompting like different types of movement, like
Mhm. And it's
squat,
very
like
simple movement. Yeah, like
yeah,
squat or like punch side to side or like raise the roof.
yeah, and it's more of
Um,
a workout, like, there's, like, a part where you do abs on the floor, and the music is definitely more poppy, like, there'll be songs you know and know the words to.
mhm.
Um, so I've been to that a bunch, and I went to one in New York in 2018, and there was a girl there that I was talking to, and she was like, "I do ecstatic dance, it's kind of similar," and was explaining I don't really remember what she said other than that she said it was similar to dance church, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Hmm.
And then I probably heard of it, like, a few other times after that. I imagined a bunch of just, like, hippies dancing barefoot, which isn't which is pretty accurate to what it was.
Hmm. That was my experience for the most
Yeah.
part.
What about you?
Well, it's okay. Yeah. Same kind of background. I was aware of ecstatic dance through dance church. Maybe we should say dance church started in Seattle. So that's kind of how we both got exposed to it. Since
Mhm.
if you didn't guess it already from our pronunciation of egg, that's where we're from. But yeah, and I love dance church. And I felt like before going to ecstatic dance, I was like, yeah, it seems pretty similar to dance church. But once I was at ecstatic dance, dance church feels much more like a class to be consumed. It just feels much more like exercise based than
Yeah.
what I experienced at ecstatic dance. I felt like maybe the people there wouldn't like dance church, but
Yeah, actually, I did talk to a girl at Ariel last weekend. Um, Tidbit of lore, I do a bit of aerial silks myself.
ends up in the silks.
Um, and because I was telling her that I went to ecstatic dance, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, I've done it, and I've done 5 rhythms," which we should talk about. She's like, "5 rhythms is a bit too much instruction for me." And then I asked her if she'd done dance church, and she was like, "Yeah, of course, like, I've done every movement-based thing there is around here, but dance church is, like, way too much instruction for me." So definitely
Interesting.
there are people that if they really like that element of ecstatic dance might not like dance church, and then definitely would hate something like a Zumba class.
Which I love. Like, oh my God.
Like, just give me the moves and I will do
Right.
them.
Brain off.
I do feel like relatively compared to most people that had never done ecstatic dance, it isn't, like, so out of the realm of things we would do normally.
Completely. I felt pretty like I wouldn't say confident going in, but I wasn't like scared. Like I felt
Yeah.
like this is something I can go do alone and I might be a little out of my comfort zone, but like I've seen this film before,
Yeah,
like
like, we both have been exposed to, like, hippie communities and, like, we both grew up dancing and have gone to dance church and things like that.
yeah, we know our way around a room of filled with mossy-haired women with natural deodorant on. And like I love
Totally.
to be in that room
I
for
feel
sure.
safe, yeah.
And that's okay, but I should clarify. My ecstatic dance experience was not a room filled with mossy-haired women. In some ways, I wish that was what
Do
it
you
was.
wanna tell me about your experience?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll start by just like setting the scene. So I won't say I'm not gonna say what city I went to this in just because I don't wanna I have like some critiques of my experience there. So I don't want
Mhm.
to put a particular ecstatic dance community on blast. Um, and overall, my experience was mostly positive. But, I went to this class alone and I get there and it's in like a not abandoned, but a no longer functioning ballroom dance space. So it's like a
Mhm.
big ballroom type area. Actually, first when I walk in off the street, there's like this guy with a puka shell necklace and a Hawaiian shirt on. And I guess he was like the bouncer, but it was so not the vibe that I expected. And he was pretty like short with me. And there was no information about like, is this your first time at ecstatic dance? Like, he just kind of was like, you can tap your card here, and then like gave me no direction. And so I walk up these like big stairs and the class that I was going to, well, we should talk about this. The schedule is kind of intimidating. Like it
Yeah.
was an hour of your choice of contact improv or yoga
Oh my
to
god,
begin.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
So which did you choose?
I did yoga.
Yep.
For our listeners who aren't familiar with contact improv, it's like a very intimate thing. You're basically improv dancing with other people, and the improv is very centered on your contact with the other person's body. So you have to be like really comfortable and really trust the people that you're doing it with. because you're like improvising and being vulnerable and creative and moving with this person. And Yarden and I have both done it in the context of like dance classes growing up, but I've certainly never done it with strangers.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything on contact improv?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay, something else I'll add to my experience was I walk in and it's completely silent. The contact improv and yoga, or the contact improv in particular, there was no sound, no music. And I think we've
Oh,
done it in the
wow.
past with like kind of acoustic jamming happening from
I
like
really
the
remember, like, doing it at dance camp too, MGMT, which was really awesome.
yeah, I would have logged in for that. No, there was no MGMT. It was like echoey, silent ballroom, dark,
How
no
many
overhead light.
people would you say there were there?
At this point, probably like maybe between the two classes, like 30. But it definitely grew.
So, was it
Um,
pretty even, like 15 doing yoga, 15 doing contact improv?
okay, true confession. I got there a little late and I couldn't figure out where the yoga was. And so I just did yoga on the side of the contact improv space because other people were doing that. Like there was just
Oh,
kind of free form, like stretching.
mhm.
And something about ecstatic dance is you can really do whatever the hell you want in that
Yeah.
space. Like I could have like sat down and picked my nose and just like ogled the contact improv dancers for an hour. And I don't think anyone would have been like, ma'am, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
you could have, like, started crocheting.
I could have like started sobbing.
Yeah, definitely. That's, like, almost encouraged.
Yeah. So it was completely silent. And then I had to go pee and the door to the bathroom, it was like a very big space, but the door to the bathroom was propped open. And it was so embarrassing because when I went in and then I like flushed, it was like so loud and echo like bounced off the walls of the ballroom. Like, I don't know. It was just a very echoey big space that was completely silent. And then it got, when they finished those two like little classes to warm up. There was an opening circle, and then we got into the 2 hours of ecstatic dance.
Wow.
Um, yeah. Was there any kind of preface to your ecstatic
Yeah. Yeah, I
dance?
guess we can just go back and forth here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the schedule for mine was super intimidating before I went because it was a 4-hour long event, including like all the before and after. Like it was from 12 to 4.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Mine was 10 to 2.
oh wow, yeah. So I guess that's normal. I guess that's normal that people spend 4 hours doing this.
It's like a
And
business day. Clocking in at the ecstatic dance factory.
and mine was in a super industrial part of the city. It was, like, so, like, not beautiful, like, no nature surrounding it, and when I parked, like, I could not figure out how to get into it was, like, in a warehouse. I
Mm.
could not figure out how to get in at first, but everyone like,
They
the
want you disoriented when you
yeah.
enter the
They want you to,
space.
like, lose your outside self at the door. When I got in, like, the people checking you in were super nice. So, it sounds actually pretty different, compared to your experience, and I feel like mine was a lot less intimidating in a way because it was totally, like, not intimate and not quiet. Like, there
Okay.
was also, like, a dance part, but what they were doing was and I got there late as well, so I came in at, like, the end of that, but it was very much like a come whenever vibe, like, people
Hmm.
were still coming in, and it was also kind of a festival vibe almost, like, there were vendors, like, around the perimeter selling, like, hippie clothes, selling herbal drinks, nothing with any alcohol or drugs
Yeah.
because of the
Right.
sober but yeah, and then someone selling vegan tacos made out of walnut meat, which was, like, the only food option there.
Dude, the farts on the ecstatic dance floor are gonna be out of this world.
And there was also, like I actually loved this part. There was, like, a part in the back with giant pillows that you could, like, lay down on, and you could, like, pay to get chiropractic done on you.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk more about this.
And there was someone, like, doing Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
um, and there was also, like, an altar, uh, where, like with, like, pillows around it, and they had, like, tarot cards. I also really liked that section where you could, like, come and have, like, a quiet moment or just, like, sit and watch the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so only, like, part of the room was, like, you had to be dancing and not talking.
Oh, I
And,
really
like,
wish
the
I had gone to yours.
I wish you had to. I really wanted a friend there.
Me too. Oh my God.
But, yeah, so when I first got there, they were finishing up the warm-up hour, which was, like, people doing, like, animal movements on the floor, but it was, like, with music and, like, someone was, like, instructing and, like, telling
Okay.
you how to get in your animal zone. Um,
How to get in your animal zone?
I mean, I missed most of it, but it was just, like, feel your animal.
Mm. Bark.
Um, and there were
There was
also, like
barking at my ecstatic dance.
Really? Okay.
Hmm.
Say more.
It was just part of the like oral expressions that were happening as part of the dance, unprompted. I feel like I'm like really processing this experience as we're talking through it. It's good to process things live when you're
Yeah.
being recorded. Okay, so the opening circle starts, which is like everyone gets in a circle, and then they made sure to ask whose first time it was at Ecstatic Dance. So at that point, I was like, I don't want to indicate that it is. I will do so, but I did feel a little bit better about like it felt more welcoming at that point, I guess, because they were asking if it was anyone's first time. But also I like didn't really want to expose myself as a newbie because I had heard from a friend that had gone that like a lot of people tried to dance with her when they knew she was new. So I kind of like lifted my hand really fast and then put it back down because I was feeling a little
Wait,
bit
can I ask,
nervous.
like, what did you wear?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I wore a really, really baggy t-shirt
Mhm.
and baggy kind of like basketball shorts,
Oh,
kind
that
of,
sounds like a really nice thing to wear.
and socks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when I do dance church, I don't wear socks normally, but I was feeling a little bit like heebie-jeebie about the floor.
Mhm.
What did you wear?
Well, I wish that I'd had better hippie clothes to wear because most people were wearing, like, hippie clothes,
Mm,
and I was wearing yoga pants and, like, that tank top I have that's kind of tie-dye, it's blue and white,
mm-hmm.
and then,
Yeah.
like, a thick headband.
Kind of a
Um
nod to the bohemian
Right.
community.
Just like a slight like a tip of the hat.
Uh-huh.
And definitely some people there, like a few people were, like, wearing athleisure and were, like, dressed for, like, a
Mm-hmm.
fitness class, but most people were wearing, like, long skirts and stuff. One person, I thought this was really funny, there was a girl there wearing, like, a giant One Direction shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I saw a lot of, those pants that like make your butt look crazy that everyone wore in like 2012. They're like kind of like flared yoga pants and they have like a tapestry like pattern
Yeah.
and they're like
Yes,
really
yes,
tight
yes.
on the
Like,
butt.
they're kind of like, really thin material so you can really see the ass, yeah.
Yes, exactly. There was some of that. There was also some like um of those pants that everyone gets when they go to Thailand that have like
Mhm, the
elephants
elephant
on them.
pants.
Hmm. So, a range of hippie pants. Um, lot of shirtless dudes sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some like fancier clothes. Like some people were kind of dressed the way that I would imagine I would dress up for like a forest fairy festival, kind of.
Yeah, I saw that too, like, some people looked cute.
Hmm. Okay, so the DJ at my ecstatic dance was like a woman in her late 50s, early 60s.
Mhm.
And I think she was German. So that was cool. And she led the opening circle like discussion and set some ground rules. Consent was definitely a big thing. I guess there's a lot of dancing with other people as part of ecstatic dance. And so at the ecstatic dance I went to, they really emphasized that you can, if you don't want to dance with someone, you can put your hand on your heart. And that means like, no, thank you. And then
Mm.
the ways that you can dance with someone are kind of by making eye contact and offering a handout, or kind of just going for it in a way when you know when you're getting the vibe.
It's so like mating dance.
It's so that is something that I kept thinking about during. I was like, this is a room full of animals. Like I'm like moving
Yeah.
through this room like an animal, and I'm
Well,
like
the
trying
animal
to.
warm up.
Yeah, so I didn't even realize I was doing it. But I was really like thinking about how my body language was communicating what I wanted to the rest of the room,
Oh, I
because
see.
I had like definitely a lot of fear that I didn't necessarily expect about like not wanting to dance with people.
So did
Um
anyone try to dance with you?
no, not really. Okay, so now we're kind of getting into the meat of it. I think what made me feel a little bit uncomfortable being there was I felt like the ecstatic dance that I was at was like one of the most like hetero spaces I've ever
Mm,
been in. Like it just felt super like man on woman to me.
mm.
Like most of the dance pairings were men and women, and I was kind of surprised by the like erotic or at least like sensual
Mm.
undertones or overtones in the room. Like it just felt very sensual to me in a lot of ways. And there were definitely people there who like weren't engaging with anyone else. They were just like really in their own world, dancing in their own space. But, this might have just been me projecting. Like, I don't, no one did anything like untoward. So it's not like I felt like,
Like there's nothing like no specific complaints. Like
no, but I was just like, whoa, I feel like so perceived by the dudes in this room right now. And
like searching eyes.
like such searching eyes, like wide, like I had to keep my
Oh
eyes
God.
locked down because I felt like whenever I would look around or like watch people dancing, I was scared that it was going to be,
Oh,
perceived as an invitation to, and I wanted to dance with, there were like a few older women there that I thought it would be fun to dance with. But then I was like, if I start dancing with someone, then is it like, okay, she's open for business, let's dance, like I
that
didn't.
sounds stressful. Like I feel like I wouldn't really be able to like just, like be myself and dance freely if that is how I felt.
Totally. I was definitely like dancing in a way that was
Throwing
very
it
much,
politely.
I was throwing it so polite, or in some ways I was throwing it impolitely because I was like doing a lot of like pointed elbows away from the body, whipping them around, and like random kicks in different directions. And like I was creating space for
Did
myself in the room.
did you feel like there was enough space to have that?
Yeah, I did. There's definitely a lot of like random movement throughout the room too. Like everyone's dancing facing different directions. And then there's people, I feel like most people are kind of staying in a general area. And then there's people who are like whipping through the crowd and leaping and
Yeah.
running. So, yeah, in general, I had my bubble, but I was letting those people traverse through. But it was okay. I want to talk a little bit more about like what this room looks like. Like, on one side of the room, mine was not festival vibes, but one side of the room, they had like mats down, and that was the massage area. And it was like, oh,
And
and
it
it
was
was
like
kind of,
peer massages, like just anyone could give each other a massage?
well, in the opening circle, they were like, I think that there should be someone here like giving massages today. And everyone was like, woo. And then they were like, but they're not here yet. And everyone was like, boo.
Booing at
And
Ecstatic Dance was crazy.
I wish I could have booed at it. No, no, no. It was good. But
Yeah.
at certain points, I wanted to boo. I don't know if this was the designated person, but there was basically like the side of the room that was designated for massage. There was just like sus stuff happening over there. Like, I don't know. I guess it wasn't sus. Everyone was consenting, but it was bumming me out. Like, the massaging was like this dude with like ladies like spread over his legs, like laying
Oh,
face up. And then he would do this like violent shaking to parts of their bodies. It looked like I was like, this is, I don't think this is real massage. Like, I didn't like,
no.
I don't think this person's gone to school for massage. And, like, everyone was down, I guess, but and I don't know what this says about me, but I was really having a hard time, like, letting loose and dancing in an ecstatic way in this space. Also, like, some of the massaging was, like, under the shirt, and then in this space, people were doing, like, rolling around on the floor, contact improv, and, like, creating cuddle
Oh my
puddles.
god. I can't get over how different yours was. Were there kids at yours?
Yes. Well, okay, there were, like, 2 kids, but it was very much like, "Mommy's going to ecstatic dance, come on." And so they had, like, noise-canceling headphones and were, like, laying on a
Oh,
stack of mats reading books, but then they would get bored and come up like, jump up and run into the crowd and dance a little bit.
yeah.
But, it was mostly adult for good reason. Were there
Wow.
kids at yours?
Yeah, there were, like, it was kind of a pack of kids that was, like, running around, and I was like, "This honestly would be so fun as a kid," because there were so many different little areas and, like, it wasn't
Yeah.
just, like, dance floor, and there was, like, a little corner that I don't really know if that was the purpose, but it ended up being, like, a little kid corner with, like, comfy blankets and stuff. Um,
Fun.
yeah, so it did seem fun to be a kid there.
Okay. Yeah. It wasn't so fun to be a kid where at my ecstatic dance experience.
Oh,
The
I'm
massaging was
sorry.
just like crazy. Like I wish I had it was like no one
I
else is
can
gonna see this, but it was
imagine.
like
Oh,
on like like where your like
like, on the
ovary is.
thigh?
Yeah, on the thigh too, and like where your ovary is. And like yeah, dude,
Wow, that's
it was
intense.
weird. It
That
was
is
intense. I just
intense.
wasn't ready for this at like 10 a.m. on a Sunday. Like daylight is streaming through the windows.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
trying to
everyone is, like,
dance.
stone cold sober.
Stone cold sober. Yeah. Um, I will say to their credit, there was a lady there who was called like an angel and she had like a light up button and she had really good vibes. She was like older, maybe in her 60s or 70s and was like moving, dancing through the space and
Mm,
she was there so that if you needed to get out of a situation that you didn't feel comfortable in or if you wanted to like talk to someone about an experience you were having at your dance, you could like talk to her.
yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah, cool.
But I didn't pull her to the side and say, "I'm really uncomfortable with this massaging happening on
It's
the
like
other side of the room."
it's like, "I consent, I consent." Is there someone you forgot to ask? And it's like, you
Me.
didn't consent to them doing the
Me in my
massages.
basketball shorts, dancing with random kicks. I did not consent. Yeah.
Ugh.
Um,
Did you dance solidly the whole time, or did you take breaks?
it felt really long to me.
Yeah.
I took a break about halfway through, and this was something that was kind of nice about it was you can do whatever you want when you're there. So
Uh-huh.
I just like sat on the edge and kind of half tried to meditate, half like watched the dance. And I felt like when I was meditating, I was like, okay, I can, or with my eyes open, I was like, I can watch the dance. Like no one's gonna like interpret this
Yeah.
as me wanting to dance with them.
You're like,
Um,
"My eyes can be relaxed. They
Finally,
can
yeah.
finally gaze at whatever I would like."
I can let a soft smile rest on my lips without
My elbows
inviting.
can rest.
Did you dance the whole way through, or were you like engaging with these different
No, I
activities?
definitely did not dance the whole way through. I was taking a lot of breaks. Well, first of all, I was hungover. So
Oh,
that was kind of rough energy-wise. But yeah, I guess just to start from the beginning of my dance experience, we also had like it wasn't a circle, but like an opening talk. So they also did the whose first time is it? I swear it was like there's probably like 100 people there, and it was
okay.
like me and like one other person put our hands up. So I was like, God, like people are gonna be
Yeah, same.
watching
It was
me.
all regulars.
Yeah, and there was really, like, no talk of consent, and
Hmm.
there was also no angel or anything like that, but then it also, like, wasn't really needed because there was totally not the same thing going on with people dancing together, like, I saw a couple couples dancing together, but they came in together, um,
Mm.
so
Wow. Okay, this is so interesting because after my experience, I was like, ecstatic dance is a horny activity. Like,
right, that sounds really horny, yeah,
yeah, that's
um
comforting to know. I want to try it again now. Wow.
yeah, I feel like you really have to find the right one. And it's interesting because I had talked to my friend Alexis about ecstatic dance before, who has been doing it a long time, and she's done it like in a bunch of different states. But she did warn me like about the dancing with other people situation. She was like, basically, it's an eye contact thing. Like if you make eye contact, or if you like look away, that's like a polite no. Um,
Basically, if you make eye contact with anyone, they're going to give you an erotic massage on the side of the room.
and she had also said, like, it's pretty much like you know what to expect everywhere. So it's interesting that we had such
Such
different
different experiences.
experiences. And maybe
Yeah.
it's just because of the people that happened to be going that day. There was like one couple that was like really doing contact improv the whole time, but other than that, I didn't see a lot of it. So then it started out like pretty slow. There was like a little bit of instruction like at the very beginning, like just kind of to like get into your body. And then it was like, yeah, pretty free form and the energy like kept building. I um I felt pretty like just not self-conscious at all, which was great. Um, I think partly because I didn't know a single person there, so I'm like,
Mm.
I don't care, like I can be as weird as I want, like nobody here knows me. And I kind of went in waves in terms of my energy. I did feel like the ecstasy feeling like at points.
Cool.
And I was like super into it and like dancing, and then I would like get tired or not be as into the song, and then I would like go sit in the altar area, do the tarot cards, like just watch for a bit or like look at the different vendors. But it did seem like it would be really nice to have a friend there. And I know like one of the ideas is that you meet people and like build community there, but definitely a lot of people like knew each other going in. I saw a lot of people like embrace on the dance floor, like at like, oh my gosh, it's you, like
Hmm.
hug, and like a lot of, like like a couple friends would take a break on the big pillows in the back and chat because you were allowed to chat anywhere besides like the main dance area. So I'm like, that sounds really nice to like take a little break with a friend and have a chat and like watch
Yeah,
people.
that does sound fun. Like, I'm down for 4 hours if it's like gabbing with my friends, getting tarot
Yeah,
cards pulled, dancing a little. Like, that sounds a lot more balanced. I also
right.
really wish I had a friend there. It would be nice to be able to like do it with someone
Yeah,
who you trust, who you know has like pure intentions. I'm like
I think
coming
that would
across
be
as
really fun.
so distrusting of my
No,
ecstatic
I mean,
dance
I
community, but
believe your intuition and like the vibes you felt there. They sound
it
a
was
little
just
weird.
so hetero. Like, and there were so many guys there.
Mm,
Like I would say probably like 70-30 men.
wow, that
Yeah.
sucks. It was probably like 60-40 women when I to the one.
Yeah, that sounds better. Well,
Yeah.
and like dance church is like 100% girls and gays. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was an adjustment for sure.
Yeah. I did have like a period of severe anxiety because they it was funny because it totally like interrupted the vibe, but the DJ had to say that someone's car was blocking the entire parking lot, and I couldn't hear
It's not very ecstatic of them.
I couldn't hear like what type of car it was. And I just remember when I'd parked, I was really confused about where I was supposed to be parking. So for about like 10 minutes, I was like, is it my car? But I like didn't want to go and check.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like a couple like in their 50s, like a man and a woman that were leading it. The man was
Okay.
DJing. And then also something that was really cool was there was like a drum group. So there was like live drumming.
That is
And
so cool.
it started with just DJ and then it transitioned more and more to the drums. And then it was like by the end, it was all drums. And like one of the drummers was like drumming in the middle and like everyone got really crazy and like
That sounds really, I
dancing
could have
around the
definitely gotten
drummer.
crazy with the drums.
Yeah. And like I touched people at that point because it was kind of like in dance church when like everyone like comes together and at the end.
Platonic
Um,
mosh pit. Like,
platonic
yeah.
mosh pit. Yeah, and then it settled down and we all, like, just, like, meditated while the drums were going.
So cool. I think drums would have been really nice. The music at mine was kind of crazy. It was like kind of trancy electronic
Mhm.
music, but there were some interesting things thrown in. Like I was shocked, maybe 45 minutes in, they sampled uh what's that Nicki Minaj song
Oh
that's
my
like
god, I was not expecting
Feeling
you to.
Myself. Yeah, it
That's
was like
so funny.
bringing Feeling Myself into this like hippie trance EDM. It was very like a bass
Oh,
god, like wow 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 wow, wow, like kind of like not like Skrillex, but a little dubsteppy, I would
wow.
say. Um, yeah, you know that part where it's like feeling myself, Jackrabbit, feeling myself, back
Wait, I
off,
I
because
do think I would have liked to hear that.
that I liked that. And then okay, I tried to get a little sample of, but it's I'm just gonna try to do it with my voice, or maybe I'll put it
Yes.
in in post production. Um, there was another like crazy sample of that like it's kind of like a Catholic hymn, dark things are happening type vocal stem that's like it's like it's like do you know what I'm talking about?
I
And then
think
it's like,
so.
do you know that? Did you hear that? I think
Yeah.
my roommate's just heard.
It sounds familiar. Where would I have heard it? Like, on a TikTok?
No, like in the like climax of like the movie production of the Da Vinci Code, maybe.
Okay. Okay, yeah, like, it's like yeah, I know what you're talking
It's like,
about. Oh,
yeah. But it was like, this was all cut up into like, wow, wow, wow. It was like, dude.
okay, that with, like, the erotic massages sounds crazy and, like,
And
bad.
people loved it and they were like whooping. Like it was like moving them to the point of like screaming at the Catholic hymn bass drops. Like it was, yeah, dude, I wanted like Brat so bad. I wanted
Oh
like
my god,
Robin
yeah.
dancing on my own. I needed like some clean
Dance church
girl
music.
dance church pop. So that was interesting. Those were the only two instances I think where they had like lyrical music that wasn't just like the trance EDM. So such a funny like the two things.
Wow. Ours was I liked our DJ. I'm like, mine just sounds so much better.
Oh, I'm sorry you had that experience. They were playing my Spotify Wrapped at my Ecstatic Dance.
No, it was like, I don't know, like, kind of electronic, but, like, global beats. Like, there were, like,
Mm.
words in some of it, but, like, not in English. Um, but it was fun. It was, like, eclectic. I do I do wanna talk about, like, the sober piece because, like,
Mm.
I really felt like it was, like, typically drug music. Like, I was like, people
Hmm.
on drugs would love this music.
It was
So
like
it's
Beats Antique a little.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Beats
Yeah. There was some
antique
of that with me
vibes.
too. Yeah.
But also just, like, a lot of that, like, I don't know how to that music that just, like, is, like the vibe is, like, we're having the time of our like, we feel, like, amazing. Like, that's, like, the vibe that the song has.
Yeah. Can you do a little of it with your mouth or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair. Yeah, no, totally. And it's like the way to get to that state and ecstatic dance is you have to dance so hard and be like so comfortable that you like experience that same
Yeah.
sense of like I love my life and I feel like a high based on
Yeah.
like dopamine or whatever right now.
But it was kind of nice to see because, like, I feel like I can be kind of cynical about that kind of music. Like, when we went to Portola and I was in a bad mood that one day, I was like, everyone's just like loving this because they're on drugs.
Hmm.
So like just seeing people be able to like be like so into it, completely sober, just in this room, like not even like a beautiful environment. I was like, yeah, I'm getting less cynical. People actually do like this. And people can just like have fun dancing.
Hmm. It would be nice to bring the artists of these songs in so they could see like people don't have to be fucked up to like your
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, and then there was like a closing circle and there was a woman next to me really sobbing.
Oh, wow, like letting it out.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like one thing that I liked about the experience was that I don't know where this thought is going to go, but like it definitely taught me something about like there were people there who were just like having so much fun either way. And it was like ostensibly a safe environment. So like that I have a lot of respect for those people who could just like that's like true ecstatic dance. Just be like,
Yeah.
I do not care what is happening around me. Like I'm happy for these people engaging in carnal delights. Like I'm here to love myself. And I'm not there yet, but um, yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely like respect the ecstatic dance community. It's a cool thing. Like I wish I was evolved enough to just be able to like let
Take
loose like that.
Yeah.
I feel like if I could do ecstatic dance and it was completely platonic
Mm.
and more women and louder music and darker,
It
I
was
think
the
I
music wasn't loud enough.
no. It was
Well,
like loud, but it wasn't like as loud as dance church music
mine was pretty
because the
loud.
space was so cavernous.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I would really love to do an outdoor one. Like that sounds really
yes,
fun to me.
I was thinking
Especially
that too.
like I'm imagining like at like sunset, like
Yeah,
dusk, and
like
it's like
Oregon Country Fair.
yeah, like it's like a meadow, like and like surrounded by forests, and it's mostly women, and it's like enough
I would love
space to
that.
run around. Oh yeah.
Yes, and you could have like freeform tag going on as ecstatic dance was happening. No, that would be great because I did feel a little bit like I had space to dance, but I couldn't run as freely as I would have liked to, and I would have felt a little less claustrophobic, I think, if I was in a meadow outside at sunset with mostly women.
I went I wanted, like, more space for a little bit, and I went, like, to this, like, corner, like, behind the DJ, and I was like, "Am I on stage right now?"
You were. You're a bottle girl.
Also, I wanted to say, about 5 rhythms, because that's kind of the other, um it's, like, very closely tied with ecstatic dance. I think my understanding of it is it's like ecstatic dance, but with a bit more structure, and there's specifically 5 rhythms that they go through in order, which are flowing, staccato, chaos, lyrical, and stillness.
That
And
sounds fun.
doesn't that kind of sound okay, it does sound fun, but it's also kind of
The
giving 4
severance.
tempers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all comes back to severance.
I think it wouldn't if the chaos wasn't in there,
No,
but
I thought it immediately. As soon as you said 5 rhythms, staccato is like
it's like
um
like
no, no,
sharp.
no. I mean I mean which temper is it? We're working
Oh,
with okay, wait. If you haven't watched Severance, no spoiler alert. There's 4 tempers. Woe,
frolic.
frolic, malice, and
Should I look it up?
yes.
I love when you whisper in the mic, it's like ASMR.
So when
Whoa,
I got to
frolic.
ecstatic dance, whoa, we're giving erotic massages on the side of the room.
It's woe, frolic, dread, and malice.
Okay. So negative. I feel like malice is staccato, lyrical
Yeah.
is woe, because you're like moving
Yeah.
slowly in long ways.
Chaos is frolic.
For sure.
And stillness is dread.
Yes. Wow, that's so good.
But there's
We
one
should
extra
throw
one.
which one?
Flowing.
Oh, flowing could be whoa.
Or
Flowing
it could also
tears.
be frolic.
Yeah. And then chaos could be malice. We should throw a
Well, some
Severance themed 5 rhythms dance party.
instead of being like, which one of the like girls from Sex and the City are you? Like, who from Girls are you? It's like, which one of the four tempers are you?
Girl, which temper are you?
I feel like all of them are negative except for frolic.
Yeah. We're both frolic, but I will say I was a little bit of dread at ecstatic
Yeah.
dance. I experienced them all. Frolic when I was spinning on the hardwood floor in my socks. I was doing a lot of spinning because spinning is like another dance activity where it's like no one can come near you when you're spinning.
You're just like a tornado that, yeah.
I destroyed the ballroom. Dread when I saw the massage. Whoa. When I saw the kids with their noise canceling headphones on laying on the mats.
When were you Malice? When you were throwing the elbows.
I was Malice when I was throwing the elbows, exactly. So, ecstatic dance, could it be your scene?
I think I would go again. Like especially if I had a friend that wanted to go, I would go with them.
How did you feel when it ended?
Tired.
Happy?
I was just honestly so exhausted, but it was also my state that day. But I wasn't like sad or like particularly happy. Were you sad?
No, I wasn't sad. I was like reflecting, I think.
Yeah.
Because for a while I was like, was this just all in my head? Like, do I just have like no chill?
I don't think so because of the erotic massage.
Yeah, and I talked to friends who have gone and they were like, yeah, it was a very hetero space. So I feel validated. Yeah, not my scene, but I do want to try yours. Like I honestly think it could maybe be more of my scene if it was a different environment. If it was the meadow with the girls.
Yeah. Should we
do our Scenester Sisters?
Yeah.
Okay, if you've stuck around, we're doing some Scenester Sisters to wrap up the episode. This week, we will be talking about our Thuzy Scenester Sisters. So this is about the Thuzy episode.
Yes. And one I wanted to read was from Brian, who was actually our guest interview on the Thuzy's episode, and he was so awesome. A lot of you wrote in to say how much you enjoyed his interview. So huge love for Brian. But something so funny was that after he listened to the episode, he wrote me, and this is his text. He said, about the polite rider on the RE Force One, he said that he actually knew who he was. He first asked, he was like, I know who the polite rider was. And then he described some of his physical attributes.
Dude, that's like what he was like.
He was like, it's like an older guy who was kind of skinny. And I was like, yeah. And he was like,
whoa.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Or not.
How many Thuzies are out there?
But
that's crazy.
He said, that's crazy. LOL, no. I don't know him, but I rode with him a couple times. LOL, he's a local and goes on his lunch break just for a few rides like every day.
Dude, well, okay, it was not lunchtime when you saw him.
No, it wasn't.
There.
He snuck in an after dinner ride.
That is crazy.
I know. I thought it was so funny that he knew who he was.
He's like the mayor of Thuzies. What a satisfying end to the story.
I know. Also, he gave a correction about the because I talked about how they couldn't run the roller coaster if it was below a certain temperature.
Right, RE Force One.
And and we were talking about, we thought it affected the hydraulic system.
We were kind of engineering the roller coaster.
He said it doesn't affect the hydraulic system, it's friction. As coasters heat up, they run faster. When it's cold, the bearings in the wheel assemblies and the increased friction between the wheels and the tracks could cause a train to valley. Remember that Thuzy term. That's why
Oh,
cold
yeah.
weather is bad for a coaster in that aspect. Cold obviously affects electronics as well, so it could throw a fault in error, which I don't really know what
Scary.
that means. The first part is like not as scary. It's just like the roller coaster might not have enough momentum.
Hmm.
But the second part, I don't know what throwing a fault in error means.
Maybe it's like, love speculating about these things. Maybe it's like the computer thinks that something has gone wrong, so it shuts it down, even though like nothing went wrong because of the
Maybe.
cold.
Yeah.
We can follow up on this again on a future episode. Cool. Okay, let's see.
Do
We
you want to
also
read this other
have,
email?
yeah, okay. We have an awesome email from Ricardo, two-time writer inner, dedicated scenester sister. Ricardo says, as a GP, I've never considered writing politely. Does that mean us GPs are writing dirty? Is it impolite to thuzies? I don't want to disrespect. I think this is less of a question and more of us platforming Ricardo trying out like the first 5 minutes of his opening stand-up set.
I
But I
know.
love it.
It is a good joke.
It's a good joke.
Writing
After
dirty.
hearing this, I'm realizing I think I met a family of thuzies when I went to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo with Annabelle this summer. We were waiting in line for a ride that was initially called Roar, but it was redesigned into the Joker a few years ago. I looked it up just now, and of course, RMC did the job. Another Thursday callback.
Yes.
This family of four, mom, dad, two boys, probably 12 and 15, was in front of us, and they were asking each other about how long they thought the line was going to take. Since Discovery Kingdom, previously Six Flags Marine World, is our home park and the Joker is Annabelle's favorite ride, we were quite familiar with the wait time issues on that ride. Wait, I feel like Ricardo and Annabelle are the thuzies in this
I know.
situation.
First, they have a home park. They have a favorite ride. They
And
know
they're
the wait
familiar with the
time.
wait time issues. Yeah. Okay, he goes on. On this ride, they have to staple every single rider. Wow, we're getting all of our vocab words in. This is
Literally.
like
He's really good at using the vocab. He was talking about the clones last time.
so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. They have to staple in every single rider, but from the front to back. Prevents UTIs. What?
I think that's another part of the stand-up routine.
Fuck. Okay. Uh, oh, like wiping. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I should be like reading ahead so that I can like deliver these jokes in a clearer manner. So if a rider in row 6 staples themselves before row 2 is fully stapled by the guys, the operators have to unlock all the seats row 2 and behind.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, not like if that's how it works, that gives me concern about the integrity of the like roller coaster seat bar.
I know it's like, well, you got stapled before the other guy, and that can't be the correct order.
Because if that happened, you are going to fly out of your seat and like everything is gone to the wind.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ricardo continues. So I told the family that we would probably be waiting a while because of that. That makes sense because they have to do it in the correct order every single time. After that, we talked in line until we got on the ride. And during our conversation, they told us that they had been in a water park like 2 hours away. It was only 2 p.m. and that they had left that park and come to Six Flags because the coasters at the first park weren't big enough.
Wow.
They also told me they lived in Humboldt, which is a trek if they were just doing a day trip. There was no credit or ERT talk. Oh my God, Ricardo. But
like
I
a
have a
ho-
feel. It's like a test.
It's like a homework, yeah, like a test where it's like use at least 5 of the vocab words
And he
answer.
passed.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they were thuzies because they had very patronizing reactions to any coaster talk we threw at them. But they were nice. Regards, the sleepy GP.
I don't know if you're GP, man.
Yeah, I think you got to look in the mirror.
I do wanna I'll have to ask him, what kind of coaster talk he tried to throw.
Yeah. He was like, so he probably used staple in his explanation of
It was
why there were wait time
like, "It's
issues.
taken a long time for them to staple, huh?"
I
It's
wonder if the family liked the UTI joke.
it seems like as a thuzy, you would be excited that someone is speaking your language, and you'd wanna connect with potentially another thuzy, but
That was
it's
my hope in like teaching our audience
I know,
about,
but I guess they can really sniff you out, like, you can't just be a casual thuzy like Ricardo.
yeah, maybe not. I mean, to GP, he could be a thuzy to the GP. He just can't be a thuzy to the other thuzies at this point.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy.
I think Brian would welcome him.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, this was fun. I feel like our ecstatic dance experiences were like that SNL sketch where it's like the aliens abducted two people and like one of them had like a spa treatment and was like welcomed and ate delicious food and the other one had like a prostate exam.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But no, I'm glad we did it. It was totally out of my comfort zone and mad respect to the people going for it and
Who
losing
are
themselves to
not
the
being
dance.
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No respect for those who are approaching it in an erotic way.
And remember, you can write into notmyscenepod@gmail.com if you have any thoughts about this episode or any of our previous episodes.
Yes. All right. We'll see you soon.
See
Talk
you in
to you
2
later.
weeks. Bye.
Bye.